Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Mack. So happy to be here with you today, even though our cameras are off today, but we are yet here.
Well, good afternoon, Pastor Shirley. And we will call that a technical difficulty, but we will
Oh,
go
yes.
on anyway. We
Oh,
will
yes, we will.
keep it on, as they say.
That's that's so true. And to everyone we're praying for and with you. And as Dr. Mack was saying a prayer, dear God, thank you for another day. Thank you for all the many blessings that you have bestowed on our souls. We thank you for the information that you have given us through different avenues. And we thank you for the research and the opinions and the facts from the places that we get them. And dear God, we thank you for blessing us to be open minded according to how you would have us to present our facts and our information, our points of view. And thank you for letting us know that and be determined to set the example of not judging and but relaying the truth and laying the facts out before the people so that they can form their own opinions, but yet for us to be encouraged and encourage them. And we have no desire to disparage anyone. We have no desire to, we said I said disparage or just talk down on people. We're praying for everyone. And we ask that you would touch everyone, touch their hearts, their minds, their bodies, their soul, whatever the need is. We ask you to do it and help them to do the right thing according to your will. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So,
Amen.
yes, ma'am. So, like you say, Dr. Mack, we're not here to down people or anything, but we are here to tell the truth.
That's
We are
it.
here to tell.
And give them an opportunity to do research themselves.
Yes,
Talk
ma'am.
it over with your neighbor, talk it over with your mission sister, you know,
Ye-
because
yes,
each of us has a point of view, and it's very important that we get to share that point of view because sometimes um, someone can say something that brings a light to the discussion that we are having.
yes, yes, ma'am. And this is the Mother's Board Inc., everyone. And this is Friday. We're live on Friday, the 24th of October in the year 2024. So this is 10,
20, 20,
24,
25,
25. Yeah,
25.
25, 10, 24,
Yes.
25. Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, Dr. Max. You see, Dr. Max on it, everybody. You know that by now, don't you?
Good
Oh,
evening. Good evening, everyone. We're certainly glad that you can join us. And if you're joining us for the first time, please just sort of uh, be patient, listen to us, share your comments. We do want to hear your comments. So um, I don't have my questions in front of me,
okay.
Pastor Shirley.
Okay.
So let's get started. As
Here
they,
we go. Let's get it started.
that's it.
In your opinion, should the visit from the Australian Prime Minister to the White House be considered a success? You want to do the
Okay, I will. I'll take that one. Um,
okay?
each week we have these very powerful persons coming into the White House. Now, the week actually ended and sort of started with Zelensky, and there were those reports that it wasn't as quiet as it seemed when they were when the president and Zelensky were out in front of the reporters. It was cordial, but there were reports that they were shouting, loud voices when they went into a room. But a couple of days later, we had the Prime Minister of Australia who visited, and his whole visit was for us to make an agreement, the United States to make an agreement with Australia for the critical materials and the rare earth materials
Mm-hmm.
that are needed to be placed in fighter jets, and iPads, telephones, almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: we were getting them from China, but then we put 150% tariff. And China says that any person taking them out must now have approval from the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to the notes from the reporters, they were given information that this meeting with Australia had been planned for months regarding this deal. And we're
Mm-hmm.
talking $8 billion.
Right.
And it's the idea that both countries will be, and this bothers me, that both countries will be rich. They'll have lots of money. You
Mm-hmm.
never hear both countries will be doing real profitable and they can help their people. I'm waiting to hear
Right.
that. That's not what I hear. I hear that we'll have so much money, but
Mm-hmm.
it provides a secondary source to China. But the situation with China will have to be worked out sooner or later. Don't you agree, Pastor Shirley?
S- Something is going to, and it will be worked out sooner or later. There just have to be some drastic changes in personnel. So
Drastic. I love it. I
yes,
just drastic.
drastic changes, and a change was a change is gonna come. Oh
Yeah,
yes, it
it
is.
will.
And so, and like that prime minister said, they did a $8.5 billion, like you
Mhm.
were talking about the critical minerals deal, and
Yes.
then there's a $1.2 billion underwater vehicles for Australia. Then there's a $2.6 billion the Apache helicopters. You mentioned
Yes.
fighter
Yes.
jets and the Apache helicopters, and then there's an extra $1 billion that comes later after this. I think it's attached to the underwater vehicles. That's a lot of money.
It
And
is a lot.
yes, ma'am. And then there are another $8 billion floating around out there just to be out there to use maybe later on. And so, of course, there's money that $1.1 billion is going to expand the U.S. submarine industrial base and the Australia shipyard. Some money is going to be used for that too. And then, like I said, that there's an extra billion that's coming in after that first billion for projects. So there's quite a lot of money floating around. And like you were saying, Dr. Meg, you don't hear them say, oh, so it can help our people, those
No,
who need more food, if we
no,
need to expand the money or
no.
what is it, up the money on the food, um, what do they call it? The food program.
Right.
We have plenty of money to do that, but no, it's all going on material things like for war and all of that, because we know that there seems to be an intention to have some major war. That's
I
the way it
understand.
seems like it's in the minds of certain individuals. But God is head of everything, and He's got this stuff covered. But yes, that's a great question, great discussion question. And your next one is, although we discussed the remodeling of the East Wing of the White House uh, complex on last week, it now, let me see, it now appears that the remodeling is much more expensive and more ex- expensive than it was revealed by the president. Do you think that is to be a nail in the coffin of this administration's reign? No, it's not going to be a nail in the coffin, not at this point in time, but you know, they use coffins later on. So, but at this point in time, it seems that, all people seem to be all in for anything suggested or wanted to do. It's people have no say so, even though we have representatives that are supposed to be protecting us from things like this. Because at first he said 200 million, now it's 300,
Right.
and they're still asking for other people to come in and be donors. And of course, the tech people and other billionaires, rich people, are supposedly pitching in on this project to keep us from having to pay for it, but we don't know the facts about this either. Things that he told to us but we really don't see the paperwork.
No one has been able to see it. Remember,
Right.
these decisions are made without Congress. There are three branches of government. However, there only
Yeah.
appears to be one functioning one.
Right.
There's the Congress, and there's the,
That,
the Justice Department, there's the Supreme Court, and
mm-hmm.
there's the executive branch, president.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
originally, it was to be a redesign too. With that
Mm-hmm.
amount that you gave, it was just going to be a redesign.
Uh-huh.
No one said anything like what was the second or third day. It was no longer a redesign. It was a reconstruction.
Yes.
Yeah. And now we
Yes.
have there's something called the Heritage Trust Foundation, where
Yes.
you have to
The
go through all that.
preservation. Uh-huh.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't done either. I mean, what they hear is he's making an announcement talking about, I love the sound. Some people don't like the sound of,
Mm-hmm.
building. And I'm looking at faces and I'm thinking they don't really do that because this is a very old building and it is now going to be much larger than the West Wing, which is the
Mm-hmm.
presidential wing. And
Mm-hmm.
they were designed to be sort of reciprocal in size, but
Mm-hmm.
this is not going to happen. And the fact that he said others wanted it. Well, they may have wanted it. They never said anything, and they definitely didn't go and take it, destroy it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
talking about. I read something this morning, an article. They want him to stop this. It's too
Mm-hmm.
late. You've
It's
done
too late.
it.
It's already finished,
Yeah,
demolished.
it's done. It is
Mm-hmm.
done. And he
Mm-hmm.
says he's going to put some of his own money back in there, but we've heard that before. But what
Mm-hmm.
he has, and it does sort of like tributes. You're paying tribute. Those companies, those big money donors, are paying tribute just to operate. You know,
Yes.
First one they mentioned was Comcast yesterday regarding the fact that they had promised to give so much money to have
Mm-hmm.
it reconstructed. Well, it's going to have all that gold leaf in it, and why you so busy having balls and other pleasurable things while you've got a group of marginalized people who are furloughed and military people in the food lines,
Yes.
in the food bank lines.
Yes.
It's not balanced. That's not balancing at all. I'm not saying I know more than they do because I don't. But
Who
regarding
said? You said that. I didn't.
but
You are very bright, very intelligent, very informed.
but thank you for that. But it just sort of seems unbalanced. It's like the food prices were to go down, and in Texas we're real upset because the beef prices have gone sky high. So they're sky high all over the United States. Just a pound of ground beef. But we talked about this also last time.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to put this a large amount of money into the country of Argentina, and we're going to buy beef from Argentina. So you
Mm-hmm.
know what the Texas ranchers are like, right? And the folks
Yeah.
from Montana out there, South Dakota. Well, when you do that, then the price of our beef still remains too high for the people to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And
We
then
have
the what is it, FDA requirements and all of that.
That's it.
All that's null and void when we start bringing that in here.
We
So
already had Argentine beef in the
yeah.
markets and things.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, some really nice cuts and things. But
Mm-hmm.
it's to the point now where you have to think, do I want
Mm-hmm.
that beef or maybe do I want this chicken? But guess it sort of runs in cycles. They'll
Yes.
start getting the beef and then something will happen and the chicken prices will go up and something else will happen and the pork prices will go up.
Oh
You know,
yes.
everything's going up. I'm
Yes.
not seeing that coming down business that
Right.
that was part of the campaign promise.
Mm-hmm. And uh, much of it is a psychological game.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a yeah, psychological game, and but what people don't realize, while they call themselves playing psychological games with us, we have more intelligence, more information. We could run this country ourselves without all of that. But there seems to be a problem when people get in certain positions. They seem to think that other people cannot match them in intelligence and
Yeah.
wisdom and all of that. They seem to forget that. But we know what's happening. It's just that, things seem to be out of hand, but that's okay. We're still eating. We're still warm or cool in our house, whatever the day brings. we still have clothing. We still have
Hmm.
transportation. Thanks be to God. So we're still faring well, and it's because there's a limit to what people are allowed to do according to God's will, and they can think they're getting away, and they seem to be getting away, but reckoning day is coming after a while. Yes,
You reminded me of the like Paul and Peter and Paul talking about the day of doom, the last
mm-hmm,
day.
mm-hmm.
John. That I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
it's going to come to an end at some point,
At some point, and
but we just have to hold
we
on.
have to, just like you're saying, Dr. Mack, we have to be encouraged no matter what's going on. It's going to be all right. We have to stay strong. Don't give up. When life problems come your way and they seem to be overwhelming, just like I said yesterday, make yourself a big old batch of lemonade. When
Oh,
life gives you lemons,
make
make
lemonade.
okay. And that
Mm.
literally make you some lemonade. But psychologically, make that lemonade, and think positive. You can take the bad and turn it good for you. And so just be encouraged, everybody. We're here to encourage as well as give information so that everybody will be informed of what we have to say.
I
So
agree.
so have I said I said something on that, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay. There was another military assault on a vessel sailing from Colombia, allegedly filled with narco terrorists. Combined President's pronouncement regarding sending in troops and the CIA, do you foresee a full military war in the future because of these weekly raids? There's supposedly occur in the international waters. My goodness. So, this is the 10th vessel, and
Yes.
they killed 6 people this time, they say, but we really don't know the facts about it. They can tell us, they say whatever they want to. Okay, we don't know if anyone was killed or if there were more killed than this. But there has never been, according to the information that I have read and sought out, there has never been any proven, no fact that any of these vessels were drug vessels. And they said this one was a human smuggling, but there's no concrete evidence.
Well, you keep blowing them up. I mean, there's nothing left but debris. You
Right.
know, we had, I believe it was reported there were two persons left and rescued by the Navy, and they were taken, you know,
To a prison site.
yeah, yes, but see, this is where Congress would come in. But see, there's nothing. Everything's shut down. No questions are being asked. By whose authority are you doing this? And if it's the CIA, then they've always had CIA come in and speak to a committee, not necessarily the whole Congress, but
Hmm.
then all of this has just been done because I said that we think I want to do it, and I have the right to send the military, paramilitary out to take care of it. But please notice that we're sort of our ships are moving, around, the southern hemisphere. This
Mhm.
last one was in this Pacific. So the guy from Colombia said a Colombian fisherman was killed, and he
Mhm.
wants to bring charges against the U.S. military. Well, that's not going to go anywhere, and you know that's not nation that has favorite status either. These are all South American nations, and you just sort of picking the ones you want to help, and not respecting the ones you don't.
Mhm.
But Sona, and then we did mention that the admiral who resigned, the African American admiral who was in
Mhm.
charge of that southern sector, resigned, and he didn't, and I appreciate that. He just decided to retire, although
Mhm.
he had 2 more years left.
Mhm.
But the speculation is that he wasn't really given information exactly, just like anyone else. He didn't have why we're doing what we're doing, you know.
Right. Probably wasn't even consulted or anything.
No, no, no. He was,
Mm-mm.
but he didn't come out and like John Bolton would have done when he was there. But he didn't do that. He simply, just went ahead on and resigned because
Mhm.
this is the highest ranking you know, leader, military
Mhm.
leader in that section. But rather
Mhm.
than come out and talk against your commander in chief, he said nothing, you
And
know.
which is the best thing to do because tomorrow or today he would have been indicted.
Well, on that list, that's what I call it, on the enemies list. Well, that's
So
scary.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, I tell you, it's something, but that's okay. This too shall pass.
Pass. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Pass.
Okay. Do you believe that Governor Abbott's order to remove the rainbow crosswalks in designated sections of all the major cities will be effective? Oh boy, I tell you, if it what they say, if it ain't one thing, it's
It's
another.
another. I was thinking about that this morning. Yeah, and the way it's always presented and sung. If it ain't, I mean, they just get right down. If it ain't one thing, it's another.
Right, right. And so it says there's no concrete evidence that these crosswalks are not that are unsafe.
No,
And as a matter of fact, they have concrete evidence coming from Seattle, I believe, that these crosswalks are positive because of the colors. And
mhm.
people can see these different colors and it makes it safer. And I know this is for the LGBTQ
Cute.
plus. Yes, and I can understand that also from another point of view is because there are people out there who hate people because of their lifestyles. And
Right.
some may think that if you're walking in the crosswalk that you evidently are one of those that I don't like and don't agree with their lifestyle, so I'm going to run you over. You
Well,
know,
yeah, I do.
all kinds of things come to people's minds. So that's my opinion on that, Dr. Mack. I'm ready to hear yours.
Well, well, I think that he really, he's been hardballing it all this time, so he'll force it through eventually. But what I like is what the little minister did, what is earlier this week, where she didn't paint the crosswalks, but she did paint the steps leading into her church. And
Okay.
her reasoning
Okay.
was she wants people to know that all people are welcome.
Yes.
It's the house of God. All people are welcome.
Right. Right.
But regarding that, I think some of his political cronies, as you said, or they don't like the idea that that group of marginalized people even exists, and we're going to make them, take it down. Well, I think
Mm-hmm.
the people themselves have committed to just go to court because
Mm-hmm.
what was one of the cities, I think it was Houston. Houston is
Houston.
really being active.
Yes. Houston.
You try to sandblast it away, then during the night they get painted again. They it comes
Oh,
back
they go back out.
right. You know, they're they're responding to it. But
Uh-huh.
you don't even have to go into that section of town if you don't want to. I mean,
Exactly.
if you're that offended, stay the heck out of the area.
Right.
That's what I'm
But
saying. Stay away. But he's going to try and push it because it's a national trend and it's coming from the top again. It's
mm-hmm.
coming, from someone up in that area. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they're right.
Mm-hmm.
They are not destroying anything, as you said. They're enhancing it in so many ways.
Right.
Um, but I want to give kudos to that. It's a woman preacher too.
Okay. Okay.
Mentioned that, and
And so she just painted her steps.
painted her
That
steps
is
in
so neat.
rainbow color. Yes, in those rainbow colors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will she catch flack? The way she understood it, this is the church. This is not public property. This is the church. The public is welcome. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't come and demand that I repaint my steps.
But according to what's going on now, they don't consider, certain people don't consider the church as a holy place and a place where you're not supposed to enter in uh, without, like you do, like a public thing, because like these people are going in there, they say, getting people out and deporting them.
Yes, that is. I
Mm-hmm.
read that too, and I also
Mm-hmm.
had someone call and share that with me. Um, but I think that's one of the questions that a little bit later on, regarding why Mayor Johnson was upset with the chief of police for not taking that was it $25,000 to
25
work with
million.
million. Thank you, to
Mm-hmm.
work with ICE, because I understand his reasoning. Um, I I know the mayor is looking at money. We could use that money. But what the chief is saying, that money comes with a price.
Exactly.
You want to, instead of my patrol officers out doing what they're supposed to be doing, they will be, you know, supporting and supplementing the ICE agents. You
Right.
know, but I don't know how that's going to turn out because this will be the first real, you know, confrontation the two of them have had. How do you feel about that, Pastor Shirley?
Well, the thing is, let me get down to that. I have those. But one thing I read about that, and that was the other day, that's even before this uh, came up for discussion. He is, like you said, well, you didn't say it exactly, but you said it, that the mayor is saying that we could take that $25 million and we can hire police officers. And it won't even have to come out of our budget. But then I saw some comments also online. They said, well, he must have gotten a call, and they're
Yeah.
saying, well, we don't want that in our area. The comments that I read, they said, we don't want that in our area. But, hey, here it is.
Well, what's happening, like in many of the cities, this was one of the situations in Chicago. Um, the administration was saying that the police are not helping the ICE agents. So I need to send some more ICE agents or whoever, to back up those. And I'm saying, well, if you're getting two wrongs, it's not going to make a right. You're adding to the problem and not solving it. But yeah, I understand, but that $25 million, how would it help the citizens of the greater Dallas area?
It's
You
going to
know,
it's going to take away because, and you look at this, the ICE is a federal.
that's right. That's
And
what
then,
he's saying.
yes, and then they'll come in and say, well, we take precedent over
That's right. That
the
is right.
local. So there's quite a lot to be considered here. And
When
some
you,
people just look at the money part, but they're
that's
like you said, what that money, it comes with a price
right.
that you don't want to pay once you get off into it.
And this whole situation with ICE, you started off by saying you were going to take the criminals out, quote unquote. And
Hmm.
that sort of didn't last the first time out. and it started to be just anybody who was from another country. Um, and I'm not defending them or whatever, but
Hmm.
um, it has changed. It's sort of like it's nebulous. It's whatever the administration wants it to be on a given day,
Right.
because they're quote unquote grandmothers and grandfathers who raised a couple of generations of kids having to go back. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
now granted they came over illegally, you
Hmm.
know, because I know people in their 30s who can remember coming over, working with the coyotes and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, to try and get them back now, you know, and then you have the DACA students out there. What's happening with them? And people, they are afraid to go to places. You know, just like
Yes, I can
there was a
understand
time
that.
when we didn't go to certain places. That when I say we I'm talking African Americans.
Yes.
We didn't go because there was danger, imminent danger
Hmm.
there. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of that kind of stuff is happening now. You
Oh,
know,
it
they're not going to a lot of public places.
right. It definitely is because it's the skin tone. If your hue is a little darker, and I think you don't belong here, then you got to go. Whether you have a citizenship or not, they're just going. If you don't look like you should be here, so therefore you've got to go. They really don't know half of the people. It's just criminals need to be where criminals need to be, but everybody is not a criminal,
Right.
and so it's just it's a terrible thing, and it's just a terrible thing. But what is it said? Be not deceived.
That's right.
God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he
He will
also reap.
reap. Yeah, there's a lot of reaping that's gonna come down.
Hmm.
it's gotta, it's got to. But I'm sorry, I skipped that question, but it just sort
Oh,
of,
that's okay.
it just, and I do think about it because
Yes.
not too long ago, and every now and then, you
Hmm.
know, something happens to remind us as
Hmm.
African Americans, you know, this is not the way it always was. This is the
Hmm.
way it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This is the
So,
way it is, right? And so we can't relax
no,
because we don't know what's going to pop up early over in the midnight hour
that's
when
right.
sleep escapes. Certain people. So
And they
we
tend to
just
do it in the night.
yes,
So,
ma'am, yes, ma'am. So we like Dr. Mack and I say we're praying for everybody that's involved in whatever's going on, and we're praying that the right supersedes the wrong,
right.
and that this will be rectified one day. And we know some things are not going to be back in place like they were,
No.
but wherever those people are that have been sent away and everything, we just pray for covering over them in the name of Jesus. And
I
it
mean,
because it's thousands and thousands.
and every day,
Yes,
thousands and thousands, you
yes,
know,
ma'am. Mm.
every day. And I realized just, I know something had to be done, but I don't think anyone thought it would be done in this manner.
Oh, yeah,
You know, I
but
don't know. There may be some people out there who say that's exactly what should be happening, but I don't think, no grandmothers, those grandmothers don't have any roots. Those grandfathers don't have any roots back in those countries. They've been
no,
gone too long. They may not even have family.
right. That's right. No place to stay, nothing.
That would be like sending us back to Africa, West Africa,
You're
or,
somewhere with
or
no
some part
roots.
of Africa. We have
We,
no real ties to them.
we know nothing about it.
Don't want to be there.
Don't want to be. They don't want us there either.
No, they don't, because uh,
They don't want us there.
a good
Uh,
friend of mine would say to me, "Girl, you just keep that kente cloth off and all that stuff. Them folks don't even like you. Oh no, they don't. No, they don't. They
I-
feel superior to you.
well, I tell you, this is something else. There's so much going on. There's so much to talk about every minute, every second. That's why we have these 24-hour news channels. There's always something to talk about, but we are encouraged. We are encouraged, and we're going on with our lives, and everybody just go on. But I take precautions. Take precautions. Okay. Now, what do you think the committee who will debrief the lower attendance rates for the State Fair of Texas will find? Are there any actions that could have been taken to correct the situation?
Well, I don't. I think they're going to when they if they look at well, first of all, the economy. That's the first one that they point out that the economy was such that um, the kids get the free tickets up to the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
The high school kids don't get them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so for the whole family to go on a non-school delineated day, it would have been expensive because when you look at what it cost this year, it was expensive. Um, and then you're going to look at the people who don't want to be picked up by certain agencies, so they
Mm-hmm.
probably stayed home also.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and you get down between having that favorite funnel cake or
Turkey leg.
candied apple or
Ooh.
nachos. You have to weigh that against getting enough food from the store that'll last several days.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
to take a look at the price of your fund plus at the opposed to the price of your family's eating. So, uh,
Right.
yeah. What do you
And then
think, Pastor Shirley?
and then also, the children at certain ages they couldn't come in without parental
Yeah, an
uh
adult. And then,
right. And so
yeah,
that cut it down too.
yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
And they
Uh-huh.
couldn't come in at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was
Yes,
a
ma'am.
certain number of kids to be with this adult. You couldn't bring, and I used to see it a lot of times, 10 kids with one adult. There's
Right.
no way you gonna keep up with them.
Hey miss,
No.
you going in? Could I go with you? Will you?
Yes, yes. That no, baby, no. There's always no, no.
Oh yeah, so they might
That's
not
true.
admit it, but they say the majority of this because they said they were down almost 400,000, which and then
That's
they
right. 300.
specified it was 362. Let me get back to that. Was it 362 point something people short this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that. Let me see. I have all of that here. But anyway,
They
it's
were trying
yeah,
to shoot.
that's what it is. The actions of the things that are consequences of this, the demands on the people here.
Right.
Uh-huh.
A lot
So,
of a lot of people are pretty much staying close to home and staying in for the most
hmm
part.
hmm right. And they have a great reason too.
Yes.
Uh, I'm telling you, it's sad, but it's going on.
Yes, it is.
Okay, as the city of Dallas is faced, oh, of the possibility of Dallas, stars leaving the downtown area, the Dallas Mavericks introduced their new CEO, who is seeking to build a new uh, home for a baseball team with the Las Vegas Entertainment um, Complex venue. How do you think that the citizens of Dallas will react to the funding sources for these new requests of the local sports organizations. I thought about that, and my main thing is don't demand it from us, but usually we carry the brunt of the bill.
That's what
There's
I
a
thought too. That is exactly what I thought.
mm-hmm,
I don't care who says they're gonna put so much in.
right.
It still comes back to the taxpayers.
Come back to the taxpayers, and the
Mm.
taxpayers are the ones that the average taxpayer, I would say, wouldn't feel good spending all that money to go to the games that we've already made the provisions for them to be in our cities. We can't.
And then they're gonna come back to you and say, "But look how much money they draw." You know,
Yeah.
because people have to park and people have to eat and da 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 da.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
you have these building projects going on already. Look what you're doing to the downtown, to the what is it, the convention
Convention.
center.
Mm-hmm. Kay Bailey.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and then look what something has to be done to City Hall. I was looking at the video with all that water dripping into the park underground park, and I'm thinking, who parks under there? That's dangerous.
Wow.
But but then um, you have these people who came in from Vegas and bought the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
Because what did they leave Cuban with 49%? Because
Yeah,
they
he's
it's
a
just
little
a
less.
little bit. Um, and then you have the stars who want this, and you're building the practice place out there for the Dallas Wings out on
Mm-hmm.
Cotton Hill. So everybody's wanting a piece. Well, FC Dallas moved. So did the Dallas Cowboys. They moved up to Frisco. Uh, it's quite a demand, and
Right.
and some taxpayers are gonna say, well, we don't go to the game, but if you watch it, I think it's a sort of a. I know it has to happen, but somehow they're gonna have to not make it a burden on the taxpayers. They really will.
Well, that won't. Well,
I know.
has it ever happened?
They should try. Let them see an
Yes, ma'am.
experiment.
I wholeheartedly agree. I concur.
You know, here we go with the concurrence.
All right. What was it? Initial. Okay. Oh, we talked about the police department and the 25
Yes,
million.
yes.
So we will go to. All right. We're moving on. As we come to the close of October 2025, Domestic Violence Abuse Month, little has been said about elder abuse. Let me I'm using my thing. Elder abuse. What is elder abuse? What is elder financial abuse? And what is power of attorney abuse? And we know power of attorney is when people give or people take charge of people's business, and then they just take it, and some of them who are not, they might start out doing the correct thing and doing what's right for the elderly person or whoever they have power of attorney over. But then as time goes on, a little here, what do you say? A little here? How do you say that? Little by little?
Little by little.
Little by little, and it turns into abuse.
Yes.
And then the financial abuse, of course, taking the elders' money and using it for things other than for the care of the elders. And then the abused elder, it could be physical, it could be like financial, it could be emotional, mental. There's so many forms of abuse, so many forms of abuse.
And you just take advantage of the person because of the age. And most of
Hmm.
the times it's done by, um, a family member or a caretaker or
Hmm.
uh, someone that the elderly person trusted, initially trusted beyond words. But then they
Hmm.
come in and they do these evil things against them.
Mhm.
physical abuse, just not taking care of them or not allowing them to eat what they want to eat. I mean, they have the money, but you're not giving them the things that are, it's not going to physically hurt them. It's not against their diet.
Right. Nutritional.
Right. And they
Mhm.
just, they've had it for years and they want to do it. And you
Mhm.
just restrictions on where they can go and who they can go with or who they can't see. You know,
Mhm.
there's situations, especially if it's a family situation.
Right.
The elderly person trusted Shirley, um, but she can't come because Takima doesn't want Shirley to see what's being done and going on
Right.
in the house. You
Mhm.
block her, you keep her from going. And that
Mhm.
financial abuse, whether it's just signing over the social security check or getting
Mhm.
into the retirement fund and taking out what you want for your,
Mhm.
not for the elders' need, but for whatever you wanted
Right.
as the caretaker, and then that power of attorney, which is one we don't talk about much, but once that's done, I mean, it's sort of the elder person is left, because you've taken
The
away from
power.
them.
Right.
Yes, taking their power away from them and putting
Exactly.
it to a legal situation that in many cases is not the best for them.
Mhm.
Truly not the best for them.
And then there's also that court-appointed guardianship scheme too.
Yes,
Some
yes,
people can just go in there and say, I want to be the guardian, this person is not this and this person not that. Sometimes they don't know the people. They just have a list of people. They go in and some courts just say, okay. And then they go in and they have the right, according to their guardianship, they can sell the people's property, do whatever they want, put them away or whatever. And so there's so much going on, and that's why we see these announcements on television. Check your deeds,
yes, yes.
check this. Do you still own your home? Check your
Yes,
deeds.
yes,
And
and
I like that commercial where they have those men sitting out in the car,
oh
and
yes.
they're so bold. They get ready to take
What's that? We're stealing. You know, we're
yes,
not stealing. We're stealing your home.
home.
Oh
Yes,
Lord,
and that
we're
is that
stealing.
is what it is comical, but it's true.
Yes,
Yes,
they don't
ma'am.
check it. They don't
Yes,
check it,
ma'am. And
and then
just
once,
yes, like you said, they don't check it so much. Just like, of course, I'm going to mention this, like the children's what is uh, where they take the children from the homes and all of that, and some of them just fall through the cracks. The
yeah,
same things happen with the elders, and just this week, I have been dealing with someone trying to. My son called it. Let me see. Is it post? Doing something, trying to take my telephone number. I have received two calls and some emails, so I had to just, you know, turn it over to him because somebody has been trying to get my telephone number. And when I researched it, it says that when they get your telephone number, trying to switch it over to a different carrier, they get your information, they get into your bank accounts and
yeah,
all of that. And
unreal,
so, yes, and I've had two calls this week.
unreal.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to get my phone.
It's
Take my
becoming
yeah,
prevalent because of the situation that we're in now, the overall situation that we're in now.
yeah,
It is becoming more prevalent.
yeah. Because people say, "Hey, anything goes. If they can do it, I can do it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander." And
But
so,
it's
like you said,
not
it's
always right.
more prevalent because they think it's open season, and so
Yes,
they can just do it as outright if they want to. Some people
they
feel I
are
have a
doing it outright.
yes,
Just
ma'am.
can't do it outright.
Yes, ma'am. I have a right to do this because I want to do it.
Yeah,
But
unreal.
yes, ma'am. So did you did get to speak on that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and but
Okay.
we just want to remember that just because Friday comes and it's the 31st, elder abuse will continue. It's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
fact of life, and if those of you who are in our listening area, if you think it's going on, don't just sit there. Say something, but
Say
do it
something.
in a safe manner. You don't want to put yourself
Exactly.
in danger,
That's
but
right.
do it. But don't forget, this person is older. They were once very young and very vibrant, and they
Mm,
could do it themselves, but they
right.
can't now.
And some can, but people are taking advantage of them.
That's true. That's
Yes,
very
ma'am. And
and
then also, like Elder Joe Bagby on was it KHVN? He used to
yes,
say somebody ought to say something.
that's right.
And then
Somebody
there's
else
a slogan: "You see something, say something."
yes,
Uh
that's
huh. But then
absolutely right.
there's the one everybody knows, but nobody's talking. We have those situations too.
And you're getting more of those because
Hmm.
we're not a few years ago under a different administration, we talked about change, we talked about hope.
Hmm.
Well, and it was an outgoing situation.
Yes.
All groups were welcome into the fold. Well,
Yes.
that's not the way it is, but it has to be. If you see that LW is occurring or you think it's occurring, you
Hmm.
need to at least ask for a wellness check to start the process.
Right. And then those of us, those the elders out there that are under the sound of our voices, if you feel like something's not right, make
That's
that
right.
call. Make
Yeah.
that cry for help.
And
Yes.
don't worry about, it coming back. Would you rather be one who spoke up earlier than one
Mm-hmm.
who regretted being silent?
Right.
And something bad, very bad has happened.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. So
Take
the
care of
N
yourselves.
yes, and the NBA scandal. There's
Yes.
34 indictments. One NBA coach and
Yes.
one present, but now no more,
No.
professional player.
Right.
Inside sports betting
Mm-hmm.
and rigged illegal poker games where they have already gained $7 million cheating people at those poker games and using rigged machines and that read the cards and the under the table and all of that. And these people are so greedy.
You already had tons of money. These are not poor people.
Right. Right. People are so greedy.
I
But
don't understand it.
Mr. Deacon McKnight would tell us at St. Emmanuel, you might get by, but you won't get away. People
It's
do things for years and years, and it catches up with them. That's why people looking over their shoulders now. They don't know when it's going to catch up. Okay, Dr. Mack, you want some more on that one?
no. I was just gonna say I hate that the coach was well. I hate who is in it because there is another one of those look at them. I knew they were going to do something wrong situations,
When
and
they
that
didn't have to.
yeah, no, right. And then I don't Cash Patel. Cash Patel's got some issues. He had $50,000 that he will not explain. But to have him stand up there and point a finger at these NBA players
Mm,
who I just don't understand the rationale behind it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Unless you just the thrill of it, or some people have to have that thrill, but
Yeah,
their lives are ruined, their families' lives are ruined. The NBA
right.
is taking a hit for it. It'll be just as bad as a few years ago when the National Baseball League had to
Yeah,
take a hit because they were betting on the games and the like. But
right, right.
these
And,
African American players who make it to the top, who make it in management, come on, you know better. As they
mhm.
say, you weren't raised that way. But
Uh-huh. But as a
yeah,
matter of fact, that coach wasn't African American. He didn't look it to me, but the
yeah,
the player was.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And then all the money. Then, but we don't know what's hidden behind the scenes. Either we don't know whether it was pressure or what,
That
because
is that.
many
I'm
times there
talking
can
about
be
that.
past actions that cause this pressure, and for people to have leverage over you. So, and sometimes you might not ever know everything. Okay, our minutes are really going away, but but it's a good going away. And we talked about the ballroom and the kickback and
Oh,
the shutdown. We're in day 24, no resolution in
not
sight,
in
but
sight.
they're still at a stalemate. But they go back into session on Monday, the 27th. So let's see how that plays out.
Well, I just go back and as they used to say in the group I belong to, talk among yourselves and start trying to figure out some way to get it done. Stop talking outside. Start talking
Okay,
inside. Figure it out. Figure it out.
right. Well, there's Alexa telling me it's time to sign off. And I think we are finished. We talked about, yeah, the shutdown and the mayor reconsidering and the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, they 44-22. They beat the Washington Commanders. And so the statistics on the Cowboys is that they're at a high point now. I said they are with 3 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie, and
Mhm.
there's a 7 games, and their running average is 31.4. Their points are 31.4 points per game. Their average averaging 390.6 yards this season per game, and so anyway, they said we're doing good and
Well,
our winning percentage is 0.500. So, we have a chance for improvement and everything. But right now, they say we're on a high point. It could
well,
go either way.
we played the Denver Broncos,
Mhm.
major team, difficult team. So we
That's
wish them well and no injuries, please, no
right.
injuries.
No injuries. Oh yeah, and that percentage on the fair was 15.3% down. So
Okay.
that's all we have. So you have what closing remarks?
Yes, we thank you guys for listening to us today, and I'd like to invite you on Wednesday to join me for from the Biblical Files of Dr. Mack. We're working in Second Samuel, the book of Second Samuel, for both the women in the Bible and blacks in the Bible. And s- just hang in here with us.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
hope you enjoyed our comments today, or at least if they made you think.
Mhm.
All right, Pastor Shirley.
All right. Tomorrow, Saturday at 7:39 p.m. is Greater Gospel Temple Church of Praise and Worship and Inspiration of God Ministries, and Sunday at 7 a.m. And Saturday evening is titled Saturday Evening Bible Session Lesson. And then on Sundays is Sunday Morning Manna from Heaven. So we're looking forward to everybody being with us again, like with Dr. Mack on Wednesday, us again on Friday, Monday morning, 5 minutes of prayer. God is good to us. And thank you everybody for being here. And Dr. Mack, would you do a closing prayer for all of us, please?
Father, we thank you for all that you've done and all that you will do. Please grant us grace and wisdom and understanding for those who are marginalized, for those who feel they have arrived. But Lord, all of those, special blessings we ask upon those who are homeless and those who are worrying about their financial needs. Let them know in their heart that you are with them and will be with them always. These and our many blessings I ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. And everybody, God willing, you'll see us later. Like Shalay Morgan said, later, Gator.